Now, the Trump Justice Department appears to be taking a hands-off approach to police reform, a major shift from the Obama administration. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has ordered a review of reform agreements made with the troubled police departments and sent a memo to U.S. attorneys that reads, "It's not the responsibility of the federal government to manage non-federal law enforcement agencies." Now, Justice reporter Paula Reid is in Washington with us now. Paula, good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
So, Paula, what does this memo mean? Will the Department of Justice still be working to reform police in Baltimore?
It's not clear. The Department of Justice opened a civil rights investigation in that city following the death of Freddie Gray. After its investigation, it issued a report detailing systemic issues within that police department and its unconstitutional policing practices. Baltimore, the Department of Justice, they got together and pretty quickly came up with an agreement on how to reform the police department. There's a few more steps before that agreement is actually final. One of those steps would have been a hearing on Thursday where the public can weigh in on what they think about this agreement. But now the Justice Department has asked for a 90-day delay on that hearing. Not uncommon to ask for delays for hearings and judicial proceedings, but many people close to this agreement tell me they're alarmed. They're concerned that this is a sign that Attorney General Sessions wants to lean back on these kinds of reforms.
Paul, in this memo, Sessions says he doesn't want the misdeeds of a few individual bad actors to undermine a whole force. Does he have a point here?
Well, of course, you don't want all of the law enforcement officials across this country with their lives on the line every single day to be maligned because of the actions of a few. But DeMarco, if you read these investigative reports that have been issued by the Justice Department in Ferguson, in Chicago, in Baltimore, they're 150, 200 pages, and they don't focus on a few bad apples. They focus on the system and problems within the system. For example, in Ferguson, that report detailed how the court system discriminates against minorities and unfairly fines them into debt. Also in Chicago, for example, the video that they show new police recruits on how to use force, it's from 1982. I mean, these are the kinds of systems that are in place to train and prepare the officers, and that's really what these Justice Department reports focus on.
It is clear there are some philosophical differences between the Obama DOJ and Trump DOJ. What are law enforcement sources telling you about how they feel about these civil rights investigations?
There are absolutely philosophical disagreements between the Obama Justice Department and what is shaping up to be the Trump Justice Department. And this is some of the most controversial work that the Justice Department does, policing the police. And there are differing opinions on this kind of reform. Some people believe that this increased scrutiny of police, these viral videos, these investigations, that these have a detrimental impact on police's ability to actually do their job. It's a so-called Ferguson effect. That is the belief of the FBI director, also our new Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. He also believes that this kind of scrutiny makes it harder for police to do their jobs and leads to an increase in crime. But DeMarco, today, local officials in Baltimore specifically said the mayor and the police chief, they say they want this reform agreement. And they want it because it will force reforms on a specific timeline dictated by the federal government, and it will also force local officials to fork over the money that's needed for these reforms. Because, again, it's local taxpayers who foot the bill for most of these federally enforced agreements.
All right, Paula, final question for you. This is a sharp break from the Obama administration, which viewed reform as essential following several racially charged incidents. How different will civil rights protections be under Sessions?
They're likely to be very different. He made it clear during his confirmation hearing and arguably during his long career in the Senate and also as a U.S. attorney and a state attorney general that he does not really agree with this particular type of reform. And there are many people who do believe that the police are being unfairly maligned for the actions of a few bad apples, a few instances of excessive use of force. But DeMarco, there's other people who say that police using excessive force is nothing new. The only thing that is new are these videos that we now have, because everybody has a video camera pretty much on their phone, that is the only thing that is new, and it's just the first time the public has really been aware of it. The Attorney General believes that the best way to improve local police departments and their use of force is not federal intervention. But that is, as you noted, that's a sharp change from the Obama Justice Department that believed it did need to step in over a dozen police departments and help them reform specifically how they use force and often how they use force against minorities.
All right, Paula Reid in Washington. Paula, thank you.